Okay, so this is the first episode of Duke Reviews Hitman Absolution. Now, I just recently finished this game, and I can tell you, I didn't really like it all that much. I mean, it was enjoyable in bits and pieces, but it really fell flat for me. Overall, I don't think you should get this game, at least alone. If you're going to get the other Hitmans, you should get it on, like with this, get it on the sale. I rate this game a solid 5. It's mediocre. Mediocre! Alright, so my main criticisms of the game fall under two categories, story and gameplay. Mainly because there are many missed opportunities with 47's character development, and the title implies some sort of religious undertones, there's going to be like emotional sort of like transformation or something like that. No, that's character development. We can't have that in our stealthy shoot 'em up game. Yeah, and there are many, like I said before, missed opportunities, and one of those being um some And one of those, I think, though, missed opportunities are like having some commentary between the human MacGuffin, which is basically like 47, except she has an off switch, and 47, she could be all like, "Hey, why are you killing all these people?" And then 47's all like, "Well, they're kind of bad," but she's all like, "Well, but killing people is bad," and then exploring that moral gray area, but can't have that in the game. So that was out. Because the human MacGuffin character spent most of the time being captured during the game, and Hitman has to go find her. Uh, which took too long in my opinion. But there's that, and then there's also the long running theme of uh, 47 sort of like rejecting his purpose and then accepting it, and that wasn't really explored into much depth here. But I will have to give the game credit for sort of brushing against getting dangerously close to the edge of some character development, some deeper meaning, by saying that Hitman's, yeah, 47's motivation for protecting the girl and trying to save her was to protect her from his fate, which I think that little bit was interesting, and it would have been great if the game had explored on it, but alas, can't get depth, can't get deep, and can't explore some deeper meanings in the video games, the people don't have the brains for that. All they want to do is go shoot some fools. But there was they beat around the bush. So they beat the bush, and I don't know, maybe like something fell out. So there was that really missed opportunity with the whole depth thing. To have a good game or a good story, you got to have a good protagonist, and then you also have a good antagonist. And if you have a bad antagonist, the story falls flat. Okay, so what Absolution did was, well, we've got one slightly okay antagonist. Let's add another to mess things up. And so you get these two losers. You get the knucklehead who looks like somebody ran over him with some farm equipment, and you have this loser who smokes too much, has an unexplained robotic arm, and a second chin, and a disgusting looking beard. And so, the knucklehead is your typical money-hungry country dude who runs a arms manufacturing plant and owns an entire county, and the other guy, the loser right there, is the ICA, the International Contract Agency manager, and he's sort of gone rogue. And I want to talk about the loser first, because he just he was only in the plot for like twice early on in the game, and then he just he was like, okay, so this guy's not going to have that much of an impact, and then he rolls into it with a tank. So I expect from my ICA people, ICA managers, that this guy would have some degree of cunning. Well, he makes, and some degree of avoidance of mistakes and perfection and all that, and he just doesn't embody all of that. So his first mistake was, incidentally, the one that started the whole plot, which was assigning it's like 47 to kill Diana Burnwood. Now I'm not a genius, but I can know if I assign it's like one of my super assassins to kill his former handler, which he was, I guess, pretty close with, as close as you can get, and that there would be some complications. And I think that hmm, maybe 47 should stay away from this job. I'll just get somebody else to do it. Probably some chicks clad in latex and with with guns. Maybe I'll get them to do it. But it was like, oh, hey, he said, hey, what's a good idea? Hey, let's get 47 to kill his old handler. Nothing can go wrong there. And yeah, so that's basically much it. And that's his first mistake, which starts off the story. Then his other mistakes were using a small army to attack a town, hiring some super elite killers, and just to take out 47, which was waste because 47 kills them all, and that was a waste. And then his other mistake was getting played by the knucklehead and a $10 million. And then his final mistake was looking for Diana Burnwood's body because he didn't believe 47 actually killed her, and he'll never know if Diana is dead or not. And so there's that. And then you have Knucklehead here, and it looks like somebody ran over him with several farm equipments, and he's basically just your stereotypical money-hungry degenerate. And he really doesn't have any bearing in the plot either, except be a money-hungry degenerate. And so he just accidentally stumbles into the plot. Like you have a failed assassination on him, and then he's like, oh boy, I got me a hitman. Looky here. And he somehow finds out that you have the human MacGuffin, and that kidnaps the human MacGuffin, and then that's the rest. You spend the rest of the game trying to hunt him down, and then he really doesn't try to fight you or anything like the loser does, but just weak antagonists. Then you've got the mechanics that suck. So first you've got this little instinct bar, which is brand spanking new and really not needed. Basically that instinct bar you see right there, pointing at with the big red arrow, gives 47 superpowers, like the ability to see through walls and guard patterns. And it's basically just that. You can use it for other things like point shooting, which is basically you go into this mode where you aim at a bunch of people and you shoot their heads off, and it looks really cinematic, but it's really not necessary. I only used it 3 times, and one of those times was in the tutorial. And it does some other things too, like if you got a disguise and some guards are looking at you and saying, and you can pull that up and blend in. And then you've got the scoring. So basically, in every mission, there's some challenges you get to do or have to do in order to get a certain score. And the higher the score, the higher your ranking is. To get that coveted silent assassin rating. You do different things, like there's one that's called Infiltrator, which is just not get spotted. And there's another where you can get if you complete the entire mission with only wearing your suit, which I can tell you is really difficult, and I've only done once. And really, also same thing with Instinct Bar. This really isn't necessary with the points and everything, and it really bogs down the game, because when you're going into a mission, right, and you're looking through all the challenges you can do, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna do all of them because you failed to contain your OCD, and then you spend about 5 hours trying to get all the challenges, and then you're like, well, I just wasted my time. And once you realize that you really don't need to do the challenges to get the points and just have fun. When I just ignored the challenges and just did my own thing, that's when I had more fun. Sort of bogs down the creativity and spirit of improvising, because it tells you sort of how to off somebody. Like if there's an accident you can set up, it sort of hints at that, and everything feels sort of preordained. Instead of waiting and observing, it's like I wonder if I can cause an accident here. It tells you can cause an accident here. and it doesn't reward you for coming up with your own solutions and not using the game. It's like there was one time when I garroted somebody, and it just gave me points for garroting them. There's some other things I really have I have to give Absolution points for, and that's the cover system. That's really interesting. It sort of turns the game into a third-person shooter, but that's okay. You can hide behind walls and barrels and stuff, and for stealthy things. And there's also a lot of things that you can use for distractions, like you can throw bars and pipes and things, and you can also use those bars and pipes and katanas to kill people. Those are interesting. One time I picked up an axe and I murdered a bunch of people, and I got an achievement for murdering a bunch of people with the axe. I felt accomplished. And then after that, I was gunned down. So, there's that. Berserker's Life for me. So, like I said before, I don't recommend this game. I don't think you should get it alone. I think you should get it with all the other Hitmans and then decide if you want to play it or not. Get it on sale, definitely. I give this game a solid 5, and that's that.
Hey, so you're kind of one of those close talker guys. Well, me, I'm not so much that thing. So if you would please just take a step back, we can communicate like men.